It's actually very apropos because with Facebook and Instagram and everything that's going on, it's almost impossible to see the real person. So go ahead.
My real question here that I understand it to be is, how can we tell that when we're dating someone that the answers they're giving us is real? They could say, yeah, sure, I want that. And they're really not that. You open the packages later and a whole nother package. So how do we kind of try to guarantee the person that's going out, or how can we find, the real question is, how can we sense, what tip can I share with you, which I don't know where I got it from, but it's a tip that we can help the kids that we're sending out on a date, we could help tell them this little trick. So the whole world can know the trick and they can all do it to each other. And it goes like this. Like, how could we really tell what they're saying is real? So this is what I advise the young couple. Say I'm sending a girl out on a shidduch, or even my daughter. Let's take that as an example. And I would say to her, I need you to talk, besides the list of 5, which I trained them all, besides the list of 5, and that list, you're going to go every date and look and say, oh, I covered 1 and 2, and I have 3 more to go. Like every time you go out on a date, go back to the list. Does he have it or not? And if he's missing one thing, you don't go, finished. This list is called non-negotiable. That means I'm not giving in on one thing. It's only 5 things. It's not 20. It's 5. You're allowed to have 5. So how do I know that, number 1, he is really the type to have an open home? How do I know he's that kind? I will talk about it. I will say, so do you believe in like having a large family or an open home? Are you the type that likes? And he could say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. He could answer that. Or he could say anything that sounds like maybe. So the little tip that I'm going to share with you tonight to tell the people going out on the date is to look out for the body language of the person. Now, you could do it to your friend. You could do it to anybody. The kids could practice, I call them kids. The guys and girls going out on dates can practice this before they even go out on a date. This is what they do. So you go to the person, you say, I really believe that for me, talk about me, don't ask them questions. For me, an open home is like my dream, my vision. That's what I want for my life. That's like everything I always dreamed when I was a little kid. And then, as you say those words, you check out their body language. It's written all over them if they're with you or not. So either they're going to do 2 things. Either they're going to say, yeah, and look at the watch and look at the fan and say, it sounds like a good idea. Like, they're not 100% into it, and they're just kind of agreeing with you. Or, and this is the trick, or they're going to be more excited than you. Like, are you kidding? That's my dream. If this is their reaction, I really mean it. This is what I always said to my parents. I want to have an open home with lots of, and build bigger than you. This is I'm talking about the guy saying, the other person saying back. When you talk about how important this is to you, they build bigger than you. They don't just agree with you, but they're more enthusiastic than you. And I go, then you know you're kind of on the right page. It's a little tip. So then you go to the next question. I think it's really important to talk about the size of family that they plan. I might be, I don't know, out of the box with this one, but
I don't think so. I have many people.
Okay,
who say
thank you.
I
want to tell you some. I want to tell you a story that happened when a couple went into marriage, and he said to me as a bacher, he said, I want to have 2 or 3 kids max. I can't handle more than 3 kids. He said that to me. I said, you better make sure you tell the girl you're dating. Anyway, so he dates the girl. He never said a word, and they get married, and she wants to have a large family. Her dream was to have 10 kids around the table. And till today, they're fighting and fighting. And I say, did you ever talk about it when you were dating? All you have to say in even general terms, I really want to have a large family. It's really important to me. And if his reaction is something like, well, I really get a bit nervous, like when they're like 3 kids, my nieces and nephews, and like I can't handle one, then you know where you're standing with him. But you got to bring it up. Because you could fight for the rest of your life on something so important that you never talked about. So I believe it should be brought up, and I believe you should just say what it means to you. Don't ask him questions. Just talk about what it means to you and look out for their body language. If they're wow about it, or if they're like it, and look at their hands and their eyes where it's turning, and if they're with you on it. And I tell them, practice with your friends. Say something important that's important to you to your friend, and watch the reaction. If they're with you, and even bigger, you know that's what you do when you're dating. So I tell them to practice a bit.
Is
So,
that what kids talk about when they go on a date?
well, you know, that's my recommendation.
No, is that what kids talk
I don't
about?
know, but that's what I recommend. That's what my list of
No,
5 is all about.
They need to
List of
ask
five
those
are- I know
questions.
that.
I'm telling you, this is what I do,
The
and
list
when
of
I
five is brilliant.
I'm a shadchan coach. So I coach them from beginning to end till the engagement. Like even through, I had somebody flying from Australia to New York, and on the plane, I knew he was on a plane, and on the plane he was talking to me. So what should I do? And I said, look up my article. If anybody wants, I have my blog number thing here. You could all take whatever. It's all here. I have more. Don't worry.
It's interesting. If everybody didn't know, but Mrs. Leader was my principal in seminary in Sydney, and it's interesting because when we were in seminary, you had a class about
Yep.
body language. And I remember thinking then, like, what are we,
What on
but
earth?
we actually, it's amazing because it is something that if you're
It
taught
tells a
properly,
story.
can
It tells
tell
a
so much
story.
without saying anything.
Exactly.
It's a physical language without having to open your mouth. So
Yep.
thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
So the idea is to teach it to them 100%. But now we're talking about dating.
No, but I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
so
There's a whole
valid in
2 books
everything
on it,
that-
3 books on it. And by the way, if anybody wants a good book, let me just throw it in. A great book that I'm in the middle of reading with my husband. We discuss it every night, and it's brilliant about another 3D dimension to understanding how people think and work. It's called Thank You for the Feedback. Anybody heard of it? Thank You for the Feedback. It's a new book out. It's brilliant. It's probably one of the best books I ever read. Brilliant. All about understanding, not Jewish. Understanding how people
We have to move
think.
on to the next question.
Yes. So, should I just finish like the,
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell,
Yes.
I'll just say to you that very important that you coach the singles that you're sending out on a date and have them make out this list of 5 and say to them every time you come back, look at it and say, did I cover it? Did I cover it? Did I cover it? Until your most non-negotiables are covered, or don't continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question we have is for